Welcome back to Religion in the News. My guest today is the producer and host of Religion in the News, J.R. Ryder. J.R., welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's so good. Look, we just want to say how much we appreciate your leadership on the show and just leading by example the way that you do, and we appreciate that.
Thank you, Lori. I appreciate that.
Thank you. And with that said, JR, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background on music? And I understand there's quite a little testimony that's in there as well.
Sure. Well, you know, like anybody, you have dreams and aspirations, and I've always had a love for music as a young kid, and also in broadcasting. My background, I graduated from Indiana University, a broadcast journalism major with a music minor. And so those have been my two passions, well, along with baseball, but I just wasn't quite good enough to make it to the big leagues. And so I ended up in 1999 becoming a part of this program. So I'm going into my 15th year.
Wow.
And I believe now my third, 3.5 years maybe as producer of the program. So that's exciting.
Very.
But the musical background, I was actually a disc jockey for a little over a decade. Radio stations down on campus, lots of fraternity and sorority parties, and you know, just several out there type things, and had a good time in the process. But during that time when I met the Lord for myself, I was challenged to take a look at what I was doing, what I was promoting. And through that event, I ended up leaving my disc jockey career and began studying music and the effects of music and that sort of thing. And through the process, God has replaced it now with songwriting. And so took away one passion and has now given me another. I've had an opportunity to write a couple of books on the effects of music. First book came out in 2006. It was called Music: A Backstage Look. That book now is actually out of print. But the second book came out in 2009. That's called The Power of Music. And this is just a book that talks about both positive and negative effects of music. And there's a lot of those health benefits of music. You know, you're familiar probably with music therapy and that sort of thing. So there's a lot that goes along with that. So that's kind of a thumbnail sketch, I guess, of kind of my music background along with my production career.
So moving forward, what kind of things do you see possibly for the future, or goals that you might have as far as writing books? Do you plan on writing more?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have a third book coming out here in just a few months in 2014, and that book is called 21 Benefits of Music. Again, it, you know, one of my favorite, I guess it's not a scripture, but it's a saying that if you know the truth, then it's easy to detect counterfeit. So I put together a book that highlights the 21 major benefits of music. And if you understand the positive effects of music and what instruments promote that, and there's a whole lot that goes with that, then it's also easy to detect the counterfeit and what's a detriment to us also. So that book will be coming out.
So you believe that what we feed ourselves can be what we become.
Absolutely.
So we have to be careful what we're reading, what we're listening to as far as music. So feed ourselves positive, and positive things can come.
Napoleon said, "Show me the makers of music, and I care not who makes the laws."
Awesome.
That's a pretty powerful quote. So,
well, great quote to end this interview with, JR. Thanks for coming on. And
thank you, Lori.
See you soon.
See you real soon.
Thank you. And now to you, Faith.
Thanks, Lori. Good morning. I'm Faith James. My guest today is author and host Carol Sissom. Welcome to the show, Carol. Good morning. So, Carol, we have a lot of things in common, at least two. We're both authors and we're both hosts here on Religion in the News. But you've been an author quite longer than myself. You have written how many books?
13 books.
13 books.
And my 14th right here I'll be releasing today.
Okay, and so you'll be releasing today, and where is that going to be at?
Well, you can come out and see me at Barnes & Noble today. I will be at Barnes & Noble in Greenwood talking about my latest book, Miracles Really Do Happen, Book 2. It's a sequel to another book that I wrote.
Okay, so tell our viewers a little bit about this book, the first one that you wrote, Miracles. Tell us a little bit about that and how that led into your second book, Miracles Really Do Happen, book number 2. This one?
This book is why I'm here with Religion in the News. I was a guest on Religion in the News, and I was out in the hallway, and I asked Teresa Weatherby, I said, hey, if you guys need any help call me, and she did, and I became a part of this family because of this book. And this book is called Miracles Really Do Happen, Faith. It's about my mother, who in the year 2006 woke up one morning having a massive heart attack and was literally dying in front of my eyes. They said there was nothing they could do. Her whole body had shut down, and I took a marker while she was dying, and I wrote Bible verses all over her body, healing scriptures right out of her Bible. And I just stood there in faith waiting for her to die, and in an instant my mother was healed right before my eyes, and the doctors couldn't believe it. And I published her medical records showing where she was dying and became healed, and she's still alive today. Still getting miracles.
That is awesome. So now, for your book signing today, I know I was kind of skimming through the book, and there was an interviewer that interviewed the Mike Tyson case, and he's in here as a miracle. So how did the two coincide?
Yes, Miracles Book 2 has had 8 to 10 different miracle stories in it, and they're just, you know, Faith, I'm a storyteller. I like to interview people and bring their stories out. So I've got 10 different miracles in this book, but the Mike Tyson one, we have a book in progress with one of the jurors on the Mike Tyson trial. His name is Michael Wettig, and he was in the fire. And he was also in a really, really bad wreck. So he tells in this book his story of being in the fire and how he, just his thoughts in that, but he almost died in a really horrible car wreck. So he's a believer in Christ too, and he tells his story along with the other stories.
Okay, so and not just coming out to books in Barnes & Noble today, how else can our viewers get in contact with you to get one of your many, many, many books?
Well, you can contact me on email. It's carolsism@yahoo.com. You can call me at 450-7802. You can always go into any Barnes & Noble in the state and just ask for my books.
Well, thank you so much, Pierre. How about you? And back to you, JR.
Thanks, Faith, and thanks, Carol. Good morning, I'm JR Ryder again. When we return, you'll hear how this host overcame smoking. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Religion in the News. My guest today is Religion in the News host Lori Cobian. Welcome to your show.
Yeah, thank you, JR.
This is fun. I get a chance to interview you.
Yes, you do.
Lori, you came across Religion in the News because you were invited to be a guest on our program.
Yes, I was. Carol Sissom had invited me to come on the show and talk about my testimony on how I quit smoking.
Absolutely. And I want to hear about that testimony again. Why don't you share a little bit about how that led you up to here?
Sure. I had been going to church for about a year, and I had a couple health incidents that happened, and through that it prompted me, after 22 years of smoking, to quit smoking. I really sought out God and was delivered not only from the smoking, but delivered from the craving that a lot of smokers who quit smoking get. And I don't crave the cigarettes, and I don't miss them, and I don't think I could have ever done it unless he was with me working.
Absolutely. So how did it happen with you? Did you eat cigarettes, or did you just, I mean, what was the remedy for you?
Yeah, well, actually, what I did for the first 3 days is I did the patch. So I knew I wanted to quit, and I did the patch, but normally, in normal, most people will use the patch for up to 2 to 3 weeks. But after that 3rd day, I felt like the Lord spoke to me and told me I had to quit. And I did. And I just took the patch off, and I've never picked up another cigarette.
Wow, just went cold turkey and with the help of...
Yes.
That's exciting.
Yes.
Wow,
yes.
what a testimony. And so you came on the show.
Yes.
You and I had a chance to meet.
Yes.
And before we knew it, you are now one of the hosts for Religion in the News. How's that experience been for you?
This has been a wonderful experience for me. I have got to meet great people, and I get to work with a great cast, and I'm just excited to see where this show is going to go, excited to see what God can do in everybody's future, in my future, just waiting for God.
So what are some of the plans and aspirations that you have now that you've had this changeover, and I understand you get caught out sometimes to do some things with Carol, and and represent in that way. But what are some of the other aspirations that you have?
You know, I would really hope to someday that I've never been to school for broadcasting or anything, but you know, I think God opens big doors, and I would, you know, I'd be excited if a door would open in that area here, starting with Religion on the News, where my start got. So
that's exciting. And so you have dreams of being in some sort of broadcast capacity.
Yes, absolutely.
In ministry in that way.
Yes, I think being on TV and,
absolutely.
And just, I think it's exciting. I
now
enjoy
you're
it.
part of a local church here. Tell us a little bit about how that's coming for you.
I attend the Church of Acts, and Pastor Bill Jenkins is the head pastor of the church, and I have been going there. It'll be 6 years this year that I have been attending that church. It's completely changed my life and changed my kids' lives and my husband, and I'm very appreciative.
And I understand you're on the dance ministry in your church, and you do several other things now. So you have now got your hands full.
Yes, yes.
Jumped into a lot to.
Yes, absolutely. The dance ministry's been a lot of fun, and you know, I do the Welcome Center at the church, so I'm the first one you see when you walk through the doors. And
well, Lori, thank you for being our guest today on Religion in the News. Always good to catch up with what our host is doing in the community. So thank you again.
Okay, thank you, JR.
And thank you for joining us on Religion in the News. That's it for today's show. Be sure to tune in next month for another exciting episode. You can share your upcoming event on our calendar by sending it to us at least 2 weeks in advance to the Wish TV address on the screen, or email us your event and prayer requests to religion@wishtv.com. You can also check us out on Facebook under Religion in the News. Check out the guest information and calendar events this week by visiting wishtv.com, click on Community, and then on Religion in the News. Also, be sure to check out the Church Federation of Greater Indianapolis's website at indyfaith.org. Here's our calendar. Have a great month.